MPs have warned that young people in England risk missing out on the grades they deserve after exams were cancelled because of the coronavirus.
A system of predicted grades is being used instead, but the Education Committee says it risks inaccuracy and bias against pupils from less affluent groups and ethnic minority backgrounds. Dan Johnson has this report.
The United States has recorded almost 64,000 new coronavirus cases in the past 24 hours. This is according to Johns Hopkins University. 774 people died.
The US state of Florida is badly hit. It's reported its second highest daily rise in...
Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, have argued that she should be released on bail because of the risk of contracting coronavirus in prison.
The ideal menu, eat that.
The dark chocolate.
It sounds very nice, actually.
The dark chocolate, yeah, but not for while you're driving.
No, it's not for while you're driving. It's before. I think you would struggle with the white fish and lentils while you're going along.
So that's the meal to have before you take a long journey.
When you stop off at the road services.
Because the road services have those.
Yeah, I don't want to say road service. What's the word?
Motorway.
The motorway service station, Darren. I forgot the word for the place you stop at when you're on the motorway then. This is a bad sign, isn't it? I need to get back on my bike.
Darren, what would you eat?
It's not a good sign.
What would you eat to keep you awake while driving?
Well, I was told...
Darren, thanks very much. We'll see you later.
Now it's time for the film review with Anna Smith.
Good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Time now exactly 6:30. Here's a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. Tougher rules on wearing face coverings could be on the way in England after the Prime Minister said a stricter approach may help stop the spread of coronavirus.
It's already... Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, have argued that she should be released on bail because of the risk of contracting coronavirus in prison.
Snapshot there of really the situation in Florida. Interesting, given the story today we have about face coverings, about how it's being approached there. So people aren't being told they have to, and some people choosing to or not.
And there have been suggestions that Boris Johnson is considering making it mandatory for those in England to wear face coverings in shops, as is already the case it is in Scotland. So we'll get more on that throughout the programme. 6:45 is the time. Let's talk to Darren, find out about the weather. So it's been a bit rainy and blustery over the last week, but I'm hoping that it's going to calm down a little over the next few days, Darren.
Darren, thank you. Let's see time now, 6:48. It's time for Click with Spencer Kelly and Lara Lewington.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast. You're with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Our headlines today. Good morning. It's Saturday, the 11th of July. Our top story today. Tougher rules on wearing face coverings could be on the way in England after the Prime Minister said a stricter approach may help stop the spread of coronavirus.
Now, it's already mandatory to wear a face covering in shops in Scotland. Ministers are considering whether to follow suit in England. The government has previously said that the scientific evidence around wearing masks in public is weak. John McManus has more.
Lockdown restrictions are being eased in Wales from today as the nation's hospitality, leisure and tourism industries begin to reopen over the next 3 weeks.
Holidaymakers can now visit self-contained accommodation with ensuite facilities. Here's more from our Wales correspondent, Thomas Morgan. President Trump has commuted the prison sentence of his friend and former advisor, Roger Stone.
Time now is exactly 10 minutes past 7. We'll have the sport and, of course, the weekend weather coming up for you a little later on.
Well, of course, the coronavirus outbreak has affected every aspect of our lives, but it's been particularly difficult for people who are already being treated for cancer.
Earlier this week, the BBC's Panorama featured Kelly Smith, whose treatment for bowel cancer was paused due to the pandemic. She sadly died in June. Now her family are launching a campaign urging the government to get treatment back on track. Here's a reminder of the story. Both of you, Craig, if we can start with you, I just want to first of all, I mean, we were watching those images now. Many people will have seen the Panorama programme in which Kelly featured. Your family has been through such an ordeal. How are you? How's her son now? What are the circumstances? Because it's very important. Often people, I think, in your circumstance feel like there's something you want.
11 minutes past 8 is the time. Lovely there where Thomas was. Darren's going to have the weather for the whole of the UK in a short while.
So, 11 minutes past 8. We need to be stricter in insisting people wear face coverings in confined spaces. Those were the words of the Prime Minister last night as he signalled a major change to government policy could be on the way in England.
We're asking about what has changed and is this a way of paving the way to get more people back to work? We can talk to Professor Tom Solomon. Anyway, I think Darren's going to bring you some good news as well. If you like a bit of fairer weather. Morning. Good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetty.
Coming up before 9 o'clock, Darren, of course, will have all the weekend weather for you. First, though, let's give you a summary of this morning's main news. Tougher rules on wearing face coverings could be on the way in England after the Prime Minister said a stricter approach may help stop the spread of coronavirus.
It's just coming up to 8:45. Good morning to you. Well, for the first time since lockdown began, concerts, festivals, theatre performances are allowed in England from today, as long as they take place outdoors.
There will, of course, be limited audiences and they'll have to maintain social distancing, but are open-air venues ready for them?
Well, we're joined by Events Director of Gisborne